Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to today's opinions video for this week's Smackdown. We got plenty to go through, so let's get into it. Again, I will just remind you, I'm going to not try and give too many of my thoughts here. My thoughts can be found in the review video. This is your opinions, your thoughts, but we will sprinkle a few things in here and there. So, Frosty Breaks Kayfabe said it was a good show, nothing to write home about, aside from Jade's fantastic debut, but definitely solid. Martin said it was lackluster, in his opinion. We Are the Woe movement said no, not Dragon Lee. Please, God, not Dragon Lee. Overall, probably 7 out of 10. Loved everything with Jade. Dom and Santos teaming up is what I've wanted. Glad they made it so that Roman gave the order. P.S. Triple H doesn't know what cool is. I do like that. Vince always struggled with knowing what cool was. And is Triple H struggling as well? The crowd definitely making it known that they were interested in Carlito. Talking of cool, partnering Ray. Obviously, we didn't go that way. I don't mind Dragon Lee personally. What I would say is we do need to do some stuff backstage with him. I need to know more about him as a person, and we need to get him into some fun moments, like so that we can start to get a bit of a connection there. At the moment, he's just a dude who can do some fun things in the ring. That's it. That's, you know, it's very flat, very kind of one-dimensional to me. I really don't know anything about the guy. So hopefully we can flesh out his personality, kind of do some fun kind of moments with him. I was thinking like him being at a restaurant and someone attacking him, or, you know, him being backstage and maybe bumping into R-Truth and just being like so confused by R-Truth. Let's get him into some fun exchanges because we need to flesh out him as a character more. But yeah, they can clearly see big things in Dragon Lee, can't they? They can clearly see big things. JD Jr. said it was a refreshing episode. Glad to get a minor break from the bloodline angle and seeing other stories ride the road to WrestleMania. Andre the Giant Battle Royal should be at Mania this year. Pre-show at least. Carlito not in the tag match. Not cool. So it seems like a few people are desperate to get Carlito in the tag match. But yes, a lot to unpack there. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal next Friday on SmackDown. It is strange how that thing doesn't quite make it to the pre-show at least, the kickoff show at least. You would think that they would want those people to at least get the experience of walking out there down the ramp in front of those people, you know? I don't know why we don't do it. There must be a reason as to why it keeps going onto the Go Home episode of SmackDown. There must be a reason for that. And I don't know what that reason is. But there must be a reason as to why we keep doing it. So, yeah, good point. Ryan said, refreshing, action-packed episodes. It may be full of tag matches, but those matches still serve a purpose. Jade Cargill definitely going to shake up the hierarchy of power in the women's division. One thing I don't like is the angle that Roman is the one who ordered the beatdown. Oh, you didn't like that? That's interesting because I didn't think they would go that way. I really thought that they were going to make it so that Roman didn't know and it was all kind of happening and he wasn't even aware. They've gone the different way, and I think the reason why they've gone the different way is because if we are going to do a Rock Roman split, which we are at some point, I'm thinking they're just thinking to themselves, let's not do it now. Let's not do it now as we're trying to build to one of the, if not the biggest WrestleManias ever. And we're trying to build to Roman, Cody, main events, night 2. Like, we need Roman to be as powerful as he's ever been. We need the bloodline to be as powerful as they've ever been. So if Roman is the one that gave the order, if The Rock is basically doing Roman's dirty work, we would much rather that be the optic than it be the other way, which is Rock is kind of going rogue, because that might be a distraction as we're building towards WrestleMania. So interesting that you didn't like it. I would imagine that there will be a split opinion on that. There will be people that didn't like it. There will be people that like it. So you'll have to let me know in the comments where you sit on that. Was you a fan of that, or do you think they should have gone the other way? Good comment. I like it. Ryan, shout out to you. Ryan scoring it 7 out of 10. WWE Ethan, shout out to you, buds, says, Daze, tonight I thought SmackDown was quite good. Wasn't sure about how it seemed like KO and Randy were best friends, even though they've got a match at Mania. I'm loving the presentation of the final testament and Karrion Kross. Tag ladder match is sorted, and my rating for SmackDown would be a 7.5. I do love the content and keep it up. Thank you, WWE Ethan. Appreciate it, my friends. So KO and Randy being best friends is interesting. I think that is designed to make you think that Logan has no chance at wrestling, that he's got no chance. It's basically 2 against 1. But as we've seen with these matches, time after time after time, that could be well and true. When the bell sounds, Logan's going to be in trouble. He could get beaten down. But then it will still come down to Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and then they're going to have to figure out who wins the match, and they will argue and squabble, and whilst that's happening, Logan will get back into it, and eventually I expect Logan to retain. Eventually I expect him to cheat, Brass Knucks, KSI, Jake Paul, someone is going to come down and help him. He ain't winning this clean, right? So he's going to cheat, and he'll find a way of getting a victory, and he'll find a way of getting past both of these guys that it seems at the moment, how is he going to survive Kevin Owens and Randy Orton? Well, they'll sort of deal with each other, won't they? So I think it's just, a way of making it seem like Logan doesn't have a chance, when in actual fact, I expect him to, and I'm sure many of you do as well, I expect him to leave as champion. Brendan says, House of Black. Wrong show, Brendan. Wrong show. You were so close, bud. You were so close. Kiki said SmackDown was okay, but say was about 7 because Tribal Chief was not there, but it was all right though, says Kiki. Ethan said flawless, but dude, that Jade pin, what was that all about? So yeah, she's got a little bit of a bending over, arching her back, licking her hand. It's all a little bit tasty. So it's it's funny, isn't it, how now that the women aren't being put into those kind of bra and panty matches, and that we've moved away from the Attitude Era, and now we've got women that are going out there and putting on bangers, now that they're feeling more comfortable, I don't think they're necessarily being forced to do this. They might be encouraged, but we are seeing them now. It's kind of coming back around where they're now bringing in a bit of kind of different elements of, I want to say sexy, where we've got Jade doing that pin, we've got Rhea doing stink faces. This is a point that Becky made in her interview with Ariel Helwani. She said that she doesn't love this stuff. She doesn't love this stuff, certainly the stink face stuff, because she's worked really hard at moving the perception of women and women's wrestling away from that. And now she worries that we might be going back to it, I can see her point, if I'm going to be honest. I can see her point. I don't need Rhea doing what she did. I don't need Jade doing what she does. I don't need the women wearing next to no clothes. I don't need it. I don't need it. I really don't need it. I'm not watching for that. I'm watching because genuinely the women at the moment are putting on some of the best matches. Now I know that might make me seem like I'm square and I'm not hip and all that kind of stuff. You could make the argument, well, what's the harm? You're still getting the matches. You're still getting the great action, but they're just putting, a little bit of their own their own little sprinkle on top, because they know it works. It gets them spoken about. It gets them extra attention. That's another one that's going to divide opinion. That's another one that people are gonna have thoughts on. I'm not bothered by it. I don't need it. So yeah, Jade's just providing a little glimpse as to, I think, what she's going to look to bring when she gets up and running. And that, of course, will be at WrestleMania. That'll be her first proper match. Her only match she's had so far is the Royal Rumble. Right, Logan says, Daze, good SmackDown. My rating will be an 8.3. 3 little questions. Love it, let's go. Do you think Damian Priest will cash in at WrestleMania? Judgment Day are breaking up is my prediction. Okay, do I think he'll cash in? He will certainly try. Definitely he will try. It would be crazy for him to not try at WrestleMania, right? Will he be successful? I think it's very difficult to say that he's going to be successful, because I think if he's going to be successful, then we are taking a chance. Nothing from Damian Priest up till this point tells me that he should be world champion. He's got a great look. He can cut a promo. I mean, he's not the most captivating on the microphone, but he can talk and his delivery is okay. He's got a good look. His match quality is okay. I've not seen 5-star bangers out of him, right? It's okay. I mean, I feel like he ticks boxes. His look is the best thing, and I would say everything else is okay. So at the moment, am I excited about him? Not massively. I'm way more excited about Drew. I don't feel like Damian has reached that level, and that's not just his fault. I don't think we've built him up to that level. So I think that we have got a bit of a problem there. I think that this could be a failed cash-in. It might be that we put it on him because we saw something. We were hoping that over that period, something would catch fire and that he'd really get the crowd on his sides. It hasn't. They're not. I mean, Dominik's getting a much bigger reaction than Damian Priest. Much bigger, right? And the crowd just don't seem to be that bothered about Priest. So if we're going to put the belt on him and he's going to successfully cash in, we're taking a chance. We're taking a chance. We're doing it because we believe in him, and we're just going to pull the trigger. And we're going to gamble, right? So I don't know if they're going to gamble or not. I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger or not. I wouldn't. I think that you've got Gunther, Seth, Drew, maybe AJ, maybe even LA Knight. I think you've got a lot of people that are in a queue ahead of Damian Priest. I think he will try and cash in. He should try and cash in. It could fail. It could fail, or he might not successfully cash in, and then what happens is that he has to do it again, like try again. Maybe on the Raw after WrestleMania, we could definitely see a cash-in attempt there on the Raw after WrestleMania. So that's a tricky one. What I can say is at the moment, I don't see him being champion. That would be my answer. Right, is Iyo gonna win at Mania? Because I want to see Iyo Julia match for the women's championship. I think Iyo will lose, but I don't feel brilliant on it. And Iyo Julia, I think you may see, but I don't see Julia going straight to the main roster. Julia is someone that is coming over from Stardom. If you remember, both Iyo and Asuka and Dakota all came through NXT, so I don't know why Julia would just go straight to the main roster. In my mind, she goes to NXT, so in my mind, she's not going to be around Iyo. So any sort of championship match, I can't see happening anytime soon. Julia's going to have to go through the NXT system, which won't take long. She doesn't need to learn how to wrestle, but she does need to find a place to live, get settled in, learn the WWE way of doing things, learn the American wrestling way of doing things, because the American style is different to the Japanese style. And so, you know, we've brought Asuka in, we brought Shinsuke in, we brought Finn Balor in, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Bayley, Sasha, Charlotte, Becky. They all went through the NXT system. I've got to think Julia's doing the same. So I don't think it matters if Iyo retains or not. I don't see Iyo Julia happening anytime soon. For me, I'm probably leaning Bayley, but I'm not feeling massively confident about it. Just because Bayley doesn't need it, really. She's been champ before. Iyo getting the win here. We could always do the rematch. You know, it might be that Iyo wins, Bayley loses, maybe Bayley gets it at Backlash. You know, we could always do that. I seem to remember, didn't Charlotte retain against Ronda? And then I think Ronda ended up winning the belts kind of after WrestleMania. So, yeah, it makes it a bit tricky. I'm going to go with Bayley, but it's not a firm prediction. I think it's a difficult one to predict. So, Logan, shout out to you. James Grant said it was an okay show. Obviously, they set up a 3-woman tag. Other matches made for Mania. I could see Cross, AOP taking on Bobby and the Profits. I agree. Nothing really important about Roman Cody's story. Don't know what Rock's reaction will be to Paul claiming that Roman made that call. That's true. And that was in Unseen. And I think this comment might have been before Unseen anyway, so I'm guessing you were thinking along the same lines, James. But yeah, in Unseen we said, what if it turned out, there's a theory, what if it turns out that Roman didn't give the order? And actually, next time we see Roman, he asks, how's everything going, everything under control? Heyman's like, oh yeah, everything's been quiet. You don't need to know about anything. That would be interesting. But that'd be very interesting. All of a sudden then, did Roman give the order like Paul Heyman said? Is Paul Heyman now secretly working for The Rock rather than Roman? Because apparently, Paul Heyman said on SmackDown, the tribal chief gave the order. He didn't say Roman. He said the tribal chief gave the order, right? And the tribal chief told Solo to be on SmackDown next week. Now, we know that Roman's the tribal chief, but what if there's a new tribal chief? It's just a theory. I don't think that's what's happening, right? Let's be nice and I don't think that's what's happening. But it is fun to kind of think along those lines of what if they went down that road. That would be pretty fun to do, you know? So, yeah, we'll have to see, but I don't think that's what's happening. So, James, shout out to you. Harry said, I hope you are well. For me, it looks like only 2 matches are left to add, and that would be Pride against Final Testament, LWO against LDF. Best thing that can happen out of that tag match between Ray and the rest of them is him being pinned by Dom, which will set up a 3rd match. Career versus faction, ? Don't know about that. I don't know if he's looking to call it quits. I don't know. I really don't know what you would do. I mean, do you do hair versus mask? That's a classic match that's been done many times. If Dom loses, he gets his head shaved. If Ray loses, he has to take the mask off. You know, do we go down those roads? I would not hate that. So I think it'd be very interesting, and that would be a big win for Dom, and it would give him something to brag about. So Dom pinning Ray, I think, is an excellent shout. TJ said, do I have a chance with Dakota? Yes, I think so. I think pretty much anyone in this community would have a good chance with Dakota because I think she respects wrestling, and so do we. Rico said, how does Cena and or Austin get involved at WrestleMania? So the word on the street is that they're not going to be involved in the main event. So I don't know if you remember back to WrestleMania 30 where the show opened with Hogan and then Austin interfered, interrupted, and then The Rock interrupted. We could always do a fun segment like that. So just because these legends are going to be on at WrestleMania, it doesn't mean that they're going to get involved in a match. If you remember at WrestleMania 31, we had Triple H and we had Steph in the ring and they were announcing the attendance. And then The Rock interrupted them, right? He didn't come down and interrupt a match. He interrupted the announcement of the attendance. And that's when they basically told him to get out the ring. It's our ring. Who do you think you are? And he jumped out and he walked round and there was Ronda. And he grabbed Ronda, got back into the ring. And so then it was Rock and Ronda, Triple H and Steph. And the place was going absolutely bananas. That's one of my favorite WrestleMania moments as well. I absolutely love that moment. So, yeah, I mean, look, there's loads and loads of different ways we can use them. But seemingly not in the main event is what Dave has said. Do Cody and Seth lose night 1, making night 2 bloodline rules? Yes, I believe so. If Cody wins, shouldn't he win clean? Yes. Where else would they show up? So, hang on. So, I think it's going to be bloodline rules. That means that there's going to be lots of people getting involved in his match. Lots of people that are going to make it harder for him to win. If a load of people come down and take those extra people away, just leaving Cody, Roman, and they battle to try and figure out who's going to win this match, that would be clean. That would be clean. Right? It's only a screwy finish or a distraction finish if there's a distraction. But if everyone has been removed from ringside and those two fight for, 5 minutes or whatever, and they're trying to outmaneuver each other, that is a clean victory then, right? An unclean victory would be if Cody gets distracted and then he's rolled up, right? Or if someone knocks out Roman and then Cody pins him. But if these two are going to wrestle for like a good 5 minutes or so, and no one else is around and they're just trying to outmaneuver each other, well, then that victory would be clean. So, yeah, bloodline rules, loads of extra people, Rock getting involved, all this kind of stuff. Down could come Randy Orton. Down, hopefully, could come Dustin Rhodes. Down could come Sammy. Down could come Jay to deal with Jimmy. Take them all out, leaving Cody and Roman, them two battling. It's just all come down to this. It's all come down to these two. Who is the better man? Cody gets the win. And yes, he absolutely should win it clean. But that's, if I'm a betting man, that's how I see it going. Where else would they show up? Where else would they show up? I don't know what you mean. Do you mean about the Cena and Stone Cold stuff? That would, as we said, the attendance announcement, the opening of the show, backstage segments. Like, to me, you don't have to interfere in a match. We've seen legends many times before, and they've not interfered in matches. But they've still made their presence felt on the show. Cena helps Awesome Truth. Maybe. Yeah, that would be fun. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Austin stuns Iyo. I would have a problem with that. Talk to me. Well, there we go. I think we've answered it, but Cena helping Awesome Truth, I wouldn't have a problem with because of R-Truth. And Cena being his childhood hero. If Cena was to get involved in that like multi-team match, kind of help take out the Judgment Day or something, I'm not bothered if Awesome Truth don't win the titles clean. That wouldn't bother me. Like, it's just not that important for it to be a problem. But it would be more of a problem if Cena knocked out Roman and then Cody got the pin. That would be a huge problem because Cody might have finished his story, but it wouldn't be a great way for him to win that title, would it? Like needing someone else to basically do the job for you. So, but him helping R-Truth, I think would be really fun. Prakar said feud between Lashley and Cross's group should be over at Mania with a 4-person mixed tag match. Drag too much. Hang on. The feud between Lashley and Cross's group should be over at Mania with a 4-person mixed tag match. It dragged too much. Okay. During the fight at the end, Asuka never removed her belt, kept fighting, which I thought was kind of cool. Oh, I like that. Pro Wrestling News said SmackDown was decent. Some extra matches have been added to WrestleMania 40 cards. I think Lashley will miss another WrestleMania. Karrion Kross said that no one goes to WrestleMania 40 now. The original plans for Jade Cargill was one-on-one against Bianca. Do you think she will turn on Bianca at WrestleMania? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the reason why the original plans were Bianca Jade is because it makes the most sense. You saw how excited everyone got at WrestleMania when those two confronted. The problem is Jade is not of a level where she's ready for a singles match at WrestleMania, right? That is a bridge too far. So we need to limit her in-ring time. We have basically got a woman that has some wrestling experience, but she is not God's gift to wrestling. She is someone where you'll watch her wrestle and she ain't gonna live up to the hype, and there's a lot of hype. So we sort of need to Ronda Rousey her, in the sense of we need to protect her, we need to put her into a tag match, and I think we need to protect her going forward as well. I think rather than her turning on Bianca, it might be a fun idea if both of those girls decide that they want to go after the tag titles and they're actually a team for a while. Or maybe you do Jade and Naomi as a team for a while, because let's say Naomi, we don't have any plans for her around the women's title. Well, giving her a run with Jade would be massive, because Jade is the talk of the town. So if Naomi is going to be her partner, she can sort of show her the ropes, or Bianca can do that and show her the ropes. That, you know, that could be a big summer for whoever gets to partner Jade. And it also means that Jade is not overexposed. She's learning. And I think that would be a very smart way of booking her. So rather than her turning, I would actually say give them the win at WrestleMania, and then if they get the win, wouldn't it make sense to do Jade and someone against the Kabuki Warriors, and they go after the women's tag titles? That would be my guess. Watson said, after seeing people's opinions online, I just had to say there isn't too much excitement for Sammy and Gunther, Styles Knight, or Jimmy. For me, people look too deep into wrestling and they don't let themselves just enjoy it. These matches should be great anyway. Keep it up, Daze. Watson, shout out to you. Theodore said, like you said in the review video, it was good to further the feuds and the storyline. Well, thank you for watching the review video. I really appreciate that. I like to get that up because, I mean, it's dawned on me that, you know, the vast majority of people don't join us for all of the live stream, right? So you would have to watch the whole thing to kind of get my thoughts on every single part of the show. So I think there is a real purpose to those review videos, and I really enjoy doing them. I also like the fact there's some content for you to get your teeth into whilst I'm working on the unseen videos. So at least that way there's something on the channel after the stream ends. So appreciate you checking them out, buds. So for the rest of the matches, yes, it built them up. Not a mind-blowing show, but there was to let WrestleMania make sense. Also a good thing after, so we get a rest after a crazy Raw. I don't disagree, you know. I know people want craziness after craziness after craziness, but I did enjoy a bit of a rest from the Rock Cody stuff. You know, we've had so much of it. It feels like it's been show after show after show. You know, we've had Cody on Raw with Seth. We've had Rock and Roman on SmackDown. Other than NXT, there hasn't been an escape from it. And so it was nice to give those other feuds a breather and give them some space and allow them to kind of build themselves, you know. It might not be the show that we all lose our minds over, but I think it was the show we needed. So yeah, I wasn't down on this week's SmackDown at all. I thought it was solid. I'm going to say solid. Nando said a lot of tag faction focus. Not mad at it though. Wasn't a hard watch at all, and super pleased for New Catch Republic. Also, main event Kota. Honestly, I'm just super excited for Mania and just glad that this show didn't ruin that, despite not being like the all-time Raw. Yeah, that's true actually. And you know, it's probably the time for us to take a look at the matches. So let's go over, now that you've said all-time Raw, it makes me think about scores. So we'll see where we are. And actually, I do have that Raw score. The final Raw score is in. So here we've got the matches. There was only 4. All of them came out as goods. It was New Catch Republic against Legado del Fantasma that came top. We had Bianca and Dakota next. Pretty Deadly against KO and Randy. Theory and Grayson against the Street Profits that came out bottom. But as you can see, all of them coming out as good. If we have a look at all of the matches, we select them all. These are all the matches that we've had. You can see there's plenty that were ahead of this week's offering, and you can see there's a fair bit now in this great category. We've still got Nia and Becky. The very, very first match of the year is still the all-time match, which, as we keep saying, if we regrade it, and I really think we will rewatch it, I think that would change. I would expect that to kind of go down more here, to be honest. So I think that we got a little bit overexcited, as I always say, but doesn't matter. I think that it was still an excellent match. I still think it would be around this sort of range. But yeah, you can see lots of just good matches, okay to good matches this year. And that's really all this show gave us, was 4 okay to good matches. Show-wise, it's down here. Not bad. I know it doesn't look amazing, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's a good distance from the bottom, and it is sort of knocking on the door. I actually agree around this sort of... It's hard to say it was a great show. It was a very good, kind of solid show, and we're right at the top of good. We're in that very good range. So I think that's perfectly acceptable. I think that's a very fair place for it to be. As we said, a pretty healthy distance from the bottom. So that's where it's going. And we said we'd look at Raw. There it is. That was this week's Raw. It is officially the best show we have seen since we've started scoring. We've scored every Raw, every NXT, every SmackDown, every premium live event for this year so far. And we got a chunk from like December as well. So we've been doing and scoring this for about 4 months. Which I know is not long, but you know, we're building. Every show that goes by, we're adding. And at the moment, that 77% all time. It went. I mean, it didn't just sneak in there. It absolutely dominated. I mean, look, you've got 40% all time, 46 all time, 47 all time, 77% all time. Amazing. Amazing. So that is quite the showing from WWE. Right, let's continue, shall we? Right, so Kian said Jade Cargill's entrance was just it. I can't quite explain it, but it just felt like something out of an action movie or something, but it works, and it just looked and felt incredible, like she is the real deal. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to what they're gonna do with her. Challengers Dark said SmackDown was enjoyable. I give it a 6.5. Ray and Lee against Santos and Dom match is out of nowhere. Priest needs to cash in at WrestleMania if Drew wins his match. Why? I think it would set Drew over the edge, and he would embrace the psychopath side of him, and some good segments and stories could come from that. Challenge Dark, shout out to you. Richard said, do you think Zoe Stark will have a WrestleMania 40 match so that she can get a match? No. No. At the moment, no. I mean, there's no sign of a women's battle royal. and there's no sign of a women's tag showcase match. Those were the only two places that it looks like she was going to be. Certainly no singles match for her at WrestleMania. So it's either going to be in a women's battle royal, which we haven't done for a few years, or we announce a women's showcase match, which we should do. You know, then it would be Shayna and Zoe. I'd expect them to be one of the teams. Kaden and Katana, I'd expect them to be one of the teams. Chelsea and Piper, I'd expect them to be one of the teams. And I don't know, do you go Natalia and Tegan Knox? You could go with that team. You get 4 of those women's tag teams in a match, in a showcase match, and it gets some of them. It feels like Chelsea Green, because of all of her hard work this show. It feels like she should be on this show. And she's not even on this show. Shayna Baszler isn't on this show. So a women's showcase tag match, I think, would be a good addition. But there's not one rumoured and there's not one announced. So at the moment, it's not looking good. Dean Parker said SmackDown was okay, matches were okay to good, but I don't think it was as big as Jade said it was going to be. Still not one to miss. Yeah, I agree with you, buds. She was like, don't miss it, please tune in. I agree, it wasn't. And same with Triple H as well. He really built this up, but even that didn't feel... Nothing here felt unmissable apart from maybe Jade's first appearance, and her helping Bianca and Naomi. But I don't know, I mean, could you have missed that? Maybe. It, you know, wouldn't take you long for someone to go, yeah, Jade debuted and she helped out Naomi and Bianca at the end. All right. Oh, and a couple of tag teams qualified for that match. Okay. So like, I agree, it wasn't the biggest of shows, but it was so easy to watch. I felt like it absolutely flew by. And it was fine. It was enjoyable. I had a good time watching it. So, did its job. Joey said, Friday Night Jade. Nick said, still watching it. Stupid PST time zone. Sheamus has hurt his shoulder a long time ago when he wrestled Edge forever ago. Yeah, I don't know where Sheamus is. He was kind of making noises that he was coming for the IC title and he was coming for Gunther. And we just haven't seen him. I think the truth is there was no plans for him for WrestleMania. And I'm wondering, will he be one of the stars that returns on the Raw after WrestleMania? So I do feel a bit sorry for Sheamus. He's been doing some great work in recent years. FaZe Coasters said, much better than I thought it would be. Love how dominant Jade looked. Miss Clown said it could have been worse. Lol. Finally seeing Jade emerge was nice. Peace and love. Chris said, I was going to say, what has Jade done but stand there was the line of the night by Dakota until Jade actually did something. I wish I knew who Jade was pre-WWE to justify the hype and posturing, but that wasn't a bad debut. Well, the funny thing is, if you did know who she was pre-WWE, then you'll know she isn't worth the hype. Like, when she was in AEW, she did go like 50-0 whatever, but obviously that's just booking, right? Her match quality was not good. What Jade is a $1 billion look. She looks like she's going to be amazing. And you could tell that in AEW. But I don't think even the most hardcore of AEW fans would tell you she was good in the ring. Like, you know, her matches were not great. You know, quite often you'd watch them and just sort of roll your eyes. So I think it's better you didn't see her before, right? Because she wouldn't have justified the hype. What you are seeing of Jade is what she is good at. Her look and the way that she kind of carries herself. That's what the hype is about. This is also why she's not having a singles match at WrestleMania. This is also why it's took forever to debut her. And so I would say just enjoy what you're getting at the moment, because what you're getting is the good stuff, believe it or not. No shade on Jade. I mean, I'm sure she's putting the work in, and I'm sure she is going to get somewhere. They clearly want this to work. So no shade on the work she's putting in. But let's be honest about where she was. Let's be honest about the fact she wasn't setting the world on fire with her match quality. She was the mid-card champion over in AEW. She wasn't even the top women's champion. She was the mid-card women's champion over in AEW. Gio the Theo said Jade, Bianca, and Naomi, in my opinion, make a very great faction. I know they just had first interactions, but honestly, I believe if they stay on good terms for a long time, they could make a dominant faction. That's Gio the Theo. Dylan said, Dakota, Kai, 2 singles, main event SmackDown. Do you think post-Mania WWE will finally push her? I did respond to this when I saw it, because I thought, finally push her makes me think that it seems like we've been holding off pushing her. Do you think they're now going to finally push her? So I did respond to it, and I said, yeah, but in fairness to WWE, she has been injured for quite a while. So for me, yeah, I can see a push coming, definitely. It's happening right now. She is getting a lot of promo time. She's the mouthpiece for Damage Control. She's having matches, but she is coming off a long-term injury. But if you are a Dakota fan, now's the time to be excited because she's back. She's back, and seemingly they are looking to push her. Did I see the response? No, here we go. Let's read the response. I didn't see it. True. Especially this return, Dakota has been excellent in my opinion. I agree with her promos. Her promos are the best they've been on behalf of Damage Control. And for someone who was out of action for 10 months, looks to have not lost a step. Hopefully praying that she'll be able to stay injury-free so that we get that push. Yeah, excellent. I agree. Completely agree. Right, let's go to the quote ones. So here's Michael. Michael said, I'm just watching SmackDown now. Wrestling Daze, it was all right, but not as good as Raw and The Rock promo with the Bloods. But really, 2 of my best from Ireland are going to Mania 40. Lucky them. And Jade has... but the women's division has put the women's division on notice, really. Michael, shout out to you. And Kian said, my opinion and thoughts. I think it was an okay show. Felt like a better SmackDown. Roman goes. I hate it when he's on the show, but I think the tag matches were okay. Dragon Lee as a new member of LWO was what? The rest of the show was decent. Overall, 7.5. Smiley face, thumbs up. We're living our best lives. So, there we go. That was this week's SmackDown. I think seems like a lot of people are around the same sort of opinion. It was solid. I don't think anyone was losing their mind over this. It was solid. It wasn't bad. It gave feuds room to breathe. Yeah, there's some good stuff here. Did what it did, and we move on. And we move on to a monstrous Raw. I mean, wow. What a Raw we've got coming up. Rumors are CM Punk will be there. Roman will be there. Rock will be there. Cody will be there. Seth will be there. Drew will be there. Rhea will be there. Becky will be there. I mean, oh my God. Raw on Monday. Unmissable, mate. Unmissable. We will be live, of course. And yeah, so much coming up. We've got the Bray documentary coming up. Slam is coming up. We've got Stand and Deliver. We've got 2 nights of WrestleMania. The Bump are going to be at WWE Worlds, which should be amazing. The Go Home SmackDown, of course. NXT as well. Oh, God. And there's that kickoff show, isn't there, that they announced? The kickoff show. I need to look into that, actually. That is next Friday, I think, before SmackDown. WrestleMania kickoff show, free for fans to attend. And it said it was going to be live on Peacock. So we've got that as well. Guys, get your rest this weekend because next week is going to be insane. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your thoughts. Thanks for your opinions, your theories, and everything else. We will be back with Unseens. I'll have them for you over the weekend. And of course, our next live stream, I believe, is going to be Raw on Monday. And that is going to be unmissable, as we said. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.